Today being the first session, maybe this class may be repeating because some people may be not joined in the previous demo session or maybe not available till full time. So I will quickly take you to the Ariba introduction and then we will take into the Ariba user interface. Let's take me to the notes. To save the time, I have just prepared some notes already. Okay. So basically, Ariba is not an SAP company, as many of you already know that. It is established in 1996 with few people, and they were successful in procurement solution, Ariba procurement solution. Then in 2012, they want to expand their network to they want to expand their network to many people across. So they have chosen SAP as their platform. So SAP has acquired Ariba in 2012, and from there it is SAP's product, and SAP is fully fully taken over of Ariba. And 2012 onward, they stopped providing on-premise solution. So what is an on-premise solution? The application is built on your premises. That means in your client premises, the application is built. Then the taking responsibility of our application maintenance will be lies with the client. So what are all the responsibilities? They need to maintain the servers first. That is a hardware side. Servers need to be maintained in a controlled temperature. For that, you need a space as well as a environmental air conditioned system also you need it. Again, when there is a update, backup and other things, all has to be taken considering the downtime availability and the resource also need to be available in your location. When it comes to the opposite cloud system that you are not going to maintain the servers, SAP is going to maintain the servers. So then you are free from the space as well as your hardware side. Next, application. If it is application is developed only for you, then any enhancements, changes, bug fixes, everything, it is your responsibility. And the consultant you need to have at your premise, or you have to hire a consultant to do all those maintenance of a software application. When it comes to SAP Ariba, this product is already developed. I mean, this is not specifically creating for any end user or any supplier or any customer. This is already built. What we are going to use is customizing that application to some extent for the business process requirement of our client. So in that case also, Ariba will take care all the security patches, releases, monthly releases, enhancement, development, all these things will be responsibility of SAP. Thus, it will save you cost of maintaining your software also. So basically, when comparing with on-premise system, hardware maintenance and software maintenance is already taken care by SAP, Ariba. So that what is how we are going to get access into SAP Ariba? We're just going to pay what is called fees to the getting access to your application. So there are two types of fees you need to pay. One is subscription fees. One second is a transactional fee, something, and it varies from region to region. So in order to get application, for example, you're taking a sourcing, contract management, and SLP, then they will be giving you one price. You need to pay for the subscription, and based on your usage, number of users you are having, then that is also chargeable based on your transactions or a volume-based billing. So both has to be paid by your customer to the SAP. So that is about SAP on the backend side. So the platform which generally we call as a software as a service. Ariba is providing as a service, the software is already developed and they are going to provide us a service. How do we access it? Sorry, this is what I was saying, subscription fees and usage fees. So you will be provided in a URL. So and with the URL, you just enter and then you with your username and password, you should be able to log in into SAP Ariba application. Procurement activities mainly can be classified into three levels. So what is three levels? One is planning, second is managing, and third is monitoring. So during your planning phase, you're going to identify from whom I am going to purchase. Before that, what is your requirement? So what is your specification when you want that item to be available? All these things you are going to fix in advance. Then the next step comes, who is my best supplier? So I have a requirement, whom I can take this, for whom I can get this business delivered from supplier. So choosing of a supplier will take care in the planning stage. For example, you want to purchase certain laptops or computers. Okay. So this is not a regular item. So you are not going to purchase every day. Unlike a stationary item, whenever there is stock is replenishing, you will be going to buy. So in this case, you are going to analyze that. Analyzation requires a lot of efforts. So what kind of an efforts? Whether the service provider will provide if any hardware issues faced by the user, whether they will come at the door service, or the user has to go to service provider service center, then they hand over their laptop and they should wait until that issue get fixed. So how much fast they are going to fix it? For example, if you are an employee and you have provided company with one laptop and there is a problem in your laptop, so when you go to the service center, when you hand over and they say that 7 days I will not able to give, and they will not also giving you a replacing laptop also. In that case, your work is affected for all these 7 days, so your company cannot allow that. So then what is the alternative? When they are going for this selection, they think that if there is some problem with the laptop or computer, I want a temporary laptop to be provided so that it will not disturb the activities. Similarly, in a production environment or a procurement scenario, when you're purchasing services, you're make sure that that is not going to affect your regular business. And the objective, one of the main objective of your product sourcing also will be a profit making or a benefit to your company. In that case, so what you're going to do, you are going to negotiate with the supplier, what is my best price. So for example, you are going to purchase your employee strength is having around 10,000 users, and every year you are bringing new users into your company, about 2,000 users. So you are going to purchase 2,000 laptop, which is a huge amount. So the buyers or the sellers also will be interested to get into deal with you, because they are going to get a huge sales at one source or one point of a customer. So in that case, so whatever these activities which I am talking about is called sourcing. So during in sourcing event, a sourcing time, we are going to identify what is the source of supply. Then managing it. So now you have analyzed or you find out a supplier. How can we enter into a agreement with this supplier? Okay, we have selected, I have made an RFP and I have able to select that person or the seller. Now I want to make sure that we agree on the terms whichever we discuss. Like when there is a problem, the service provider has to provide a replacing laptop, and we are going to purchase 2,000 units of supply, and he has to give, as soon as I release a purchase order, he has to deliver me whatever the agreed term, maybe 7 days, within 7 days, he should configure and give it to us. Even maybe you can add one more term. If there is a problem, the service provider has to reach to our employee location, then they have to do that fixing, whatever required. So all these things, where you're going to have it under contract, you're going to have these terms agreed. And then now you have already find out a source of supply and you already have an agreement. Now you're making this life simpler by accessing, by giving this, by enabling this item to be available for the buyer to choose it. So what will happen in your company? Now HR department or an IT department, which they are going to onboard certain employees. So you're going to onboard certain employees. So you need to purchase laptop. So again, you don't need to do this activity. What you're going to do, you're going to simply create a purchase requisition. You log into the system, enter the computer name, then a tile will appear on your screen. You just need to click and select and add to purchase requisition. That's it. Once you completed your purchase requisition, you mention the quantity required, where it need to be delivered. Price is already determined by that item itself. When you are looking at that screen, it will tell you what is the cost it is going to do that. Once you submit your purchase requisition, automatically it will go to the approval process. So again, the approval process is based on your configuration. Probably it can go to your manager if the amount is up to certain limit. If the amount is more than certain limit, then that can go to one more level of approval, probably your project manager or a delivery manager. And if it is involved fixed cost and you want that need to be accounted in your environment, then you want to maintain an asset tag also, you can add one more level of approval. Basically, asset management team also will be included into your approval flow. We can able to configure, and Ariba is very flexible in that. Okay, now the topic is, so as soon as you submit a purchase requisition, once it is approved, a PO will be sent to the supplier immediately. Ariba will take care of creation of a purchase order and sending to the vendor. At this stage, you do not need any integration or you do not need any existing master data or anything. What you need is a supplier account created in your account and he has accepted your RFP. So with that information, you can place an order with your supplier and then you will start receiving that item. So once you receive that item, now you can do that receiving either in your SAP or in your goods receipt, and the payment also invoice can be submitted by the supplier through the network, and then you make a payment. With this, the cycle is complete. The procurement cycle, which starts from the requisition until the payment, the cycle is completed. This is also called procure to pay scenario. So this is at the high level what in SAP Ariba we are going to achieve. So we are going to achieve finding of a source of a supply from available market. When I'm saying available market, as of now, there are approximately 40 million suppliers available in business network. Earlier it is called Ariba network. Now it is replaced with SAP business network. Okay, so that means when you're saying 40 million suppliers are available, so most of your supplier where you are going to deal currently offline of your existing legacy system or a procurement system, they're already aware this process of SAP Ariba, then it is easy for you to transact the supplier over Ariba and take an advantages of getting an immediate responses and making your automation easier. So as I mentioned, how can I say automation is easier? Once your user is submitting a purchase requisition, rest of the activities are system driven. You don't need to do. The approver will approve it. Then Ariba will create a purchase order and it will send that copy of a purchase order to the supplier. Suppose you are having an ERP system integrated, a copy will also go to your ERP and you can able to view the status at all stages. Then even your supplier can give you an order confirmation. It's a kind of an acknowledgement he is providing that he is receiving his order and he will able to deliver it in short period. I will take a pause here if there is any questions on this.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
Even if you are a fresher and you are not into procurement environment, feel free to ask or raise your question. I am happy to help you. Okay. Now let's continue. So the mention of whatever the activities a procurement to pay scenario, we are going to do that. Ariba is basically or mainly classified as two things. One is upstream solution. Second is a core procurement, which is nothing also called as a downstream solution. Under upstream solution, you're going to have three modules: sourcing module, contract module, supplier module. What is the activities in sourcing module? You're going to find out price from your supplier. In simple terms, I'm saying you're going to find out price from a supplier. In contract module, you're going to establish a contract with your supplier so that you're agreeing a term, and also you're going to make this contract available in your downstream so the buyer can choose this contract item and proceed with placing an order. And third item is a supplier, where in this case, you are going to decide on supplier onboarding process. I mean, when there is a lot of suppliers are available over a market, you are going to identify certain suppliers as a preferred supplier, and then certain suppliers, you are qualifying them to certain material categories. For example, you have a supplier and he is supplying both raw material and finished goods, or he is supplying, for example, Reliance Industry as your supplier. He can provide all your grocery items, he can provide electronic items, he can provide digital items. In your procurement department, so you need to evaluate the supplier. So when you are evaluating his supplier, you are not going to evaluate for all the products. You are going to evaluate him, for example, electronics category or a computer category. So you have made an analysis with other computer suppliers, and you choose that Reliance also fit for your business to start dealing with him. Then you are going to qualify him for electronic item at one stage. Maybe at a later stage, you also started purchasing stationery for him, from him, or from that supplier. Then you were going to evaluate sourcing of a stationery from that supplier, and you are going to compare with other suppliers also. Then you have chosen he is also fit for stationery or a commodity items. Then you are going to qualify him for stationery item. So what is the qualification? By doing a qualification, you are going to give a preference, or you are going to decide in your company when someone is searching for this particular category, then the users or the buyers will know that stationery items, these are all our qualified suppliers by our company, and you can purchase the items from these suppliers. So that is all taken care or activities in your supplier management. Apart from that, you can also do performance management of a supplier. That is periodical review. Probably a 6 months or a 1 year review you can conduct and see whatever the performance of that supplier over that period. Probably we are going to check on whether the quality supplied by him is acceptable, or is there any issues in invoicing, whether he is sending a doubling invoice, or he is making us a pressure on the payment status, or he is not flexible in responding to our requisitions, not requisition, quote request and all. All these things you can evaluate during performance management, and you can take a corrective steps if it is required. If he is performing well, you can get given an appreciation. If some correction is needed, you can communicate to the supplier that in some areas you need to keep a improvement so that we will continue business with him. Not only that, you are also checking the creditability or a financial situation of that supplier, whether this supplier is going to provide another couple of years with us. Why this is important? In today's part of the world, you are not going to call suppliers as a vendors or suppliers. You are going to call them as a business partners, because the need or the method has been changed, because successfulness of either a buyer or supplier depends on mutually between the supplier as well as the buyer. The supplier performance will increase as soon as you are placing in purchase orders. Similarly, buyers deliverables will be not affected as soon as the supplier is giving it. There are certain situations in the past where the supplier is keep on placing an order at one point and he has not selected any alternative vendor. So he is trusting the supplier that he is going to supply. At one point of a stage, another company has taken over that company, and they thought that the category or a material that item is supplying is not a profit-making business, and they want to wind up. So by the customer is not prepared of this action, then it is impacting his supply or his sale item. So that is got severely affected because he has not planned in advance. To avoid this, companies are very vigilant on their suppliers so that it is not going to affect their regular business operations. So those are all the important values in your supplier. All these three activities we are going to see as part of upstream solution. And downstream solution, we are going to see purchase requisition approval flow, receiving types, commodity types, what kind of a invoice exceptions we are receiving, how many types of invoice we are accepting. All these things we are going to see as part of core administration or a downstream solution, which is also called buying and invoicing solution. One more thing I want to tell is, as your customer or your client, can they subscribe only to one particular module? Well, they have to take all these modules. No, Ariba is very flexible. You can choose what module you want to do it. For example, you can subscribe only to sourcing module, or you can subscribe only to buying module also. Then one more question will come. How about integration? I am having an SAP ERP. Can I connect? Or I am having a third-party ERP system which is custom developed. Can I able to connect Ariba application? Yes, Ariba is very flexible. You can connect with any ERP system. By default, Ariba strongly connects with existing SAP ERP system, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics. These three channels are already well defined and it is easy to configure. Any other system that require little more efforts to connect and integrate with that particular ERP system. And I will quickly complete one more topic where I am talking about support. So as I mentioned, so this the responsibility of application maintenance and product releases, product enhancements is taken care by an SAP. Something I want to do some action or some modification, but I do not have access to do that because it is limited to us. And how can we get that done? So then you need to contact support. So how you are going to support? You need to go to connect.ariba.com. For that, you need to have a designated support contact access. That means your client has to give you a permission called designated support contact. Then you can raise a ticket with connect.ariba.com explaining what is your requirement. Some flow is not working as expected. For example, the PR which you have sent is not moving into next status. It's supposed to move as soon as approval is done. It has to create a purchase order, but it is not doing. It's stuck in one particular status, and you are not able to do any action on that particular item. Then you need to raise a ticket with SAP Ariba through connect.ariba.com, and technical person from their end will come and help you. Sorry. So they will assign a technical engineer, and the technical engineer will respond to you saying what kind of an action they are not to take. Suppose if they are performing an action, they will reply you that we have did something. So can you please check now? So that is how you are going to connect with using connect.ariba.com. Before I show you on Ariba screens, are there any questions? There is a question, will there be a discussion regarding spend management and supply chain collaboration as well? No, those are all different topics. So spend management is specifically for your organization where you need to, just to give you in some small information, so SAP will analyze your data and they will recommend you the reports and they will configure spend management. Yeah, we are not going to cover that. Coming to the supply chain collaboration, basically supply chain collaboration is you're going to connect with your supplier database using a business network and not using any Ariba application. But what in this course, we are going to focus mainly on the Ariba application, how we are going to configure and how we are going to support Ariba applications. Let's take me to the Ariba screen. As I mentioned, you are provided with a unique URL if you want to connect with SAP Ariba, and then you need to have a username and password or a user created in your account. Then you will able to log in into Ariba screen. So far we have discussed about Ariba introduction or Ariba overview. Now we will see on the user navigation or a dashboard. Sorry, I was typing and mute. So this is the page where you enter username and password. It will take you to the Ariba's homepage. People coming from MM or S4HANA, you might be seeing this is as a different environment. Is basically this is the user interface, or this is the dashboard, or this is the home page or landing page. You can call whatever be the name. So this will be your home page. By clicking here, you are seeing that SAP logo. This can be replaced with your company logo also. That is not a problem. And on the right hand side, you're going to use these menus that is called self-service menu. What are all the self-service menu? By clicking on that user icon, when you mention that, the system will allow you to change your password, secret question, language setting, activating your mobile, and you are going to download what is your procurement user. I mean, what are all the configurations you are having as a procurement user. Desktop file sync, which is no more required now. Prior to 2017 or 18, SAP, if you want to use a file you want to bring from your computer to Ariba, if you are using an Internet Explorer, then you need a desktop file sync and you need to mention a folder. Once you put document in that folder, in order to get that item into your Ariba application, you need a desktop file sync. So the file will be uploaded in Ariba. 2017 or 18 onwards, it is not required anymore. Okay, then there is also a condition. In order to use this desktop file sync, the browser should be Internet Explorer. But now most of the people have already migrated. If any of your client is still using Internet Explorer, then they might use desktop file sync. 95% of the clients are already migrated. This is no more a required. Dashboard preferences, you can change your dashboard preferences like let's click on that. It's a simple only. Show confirmation when deleting a dashboard tab. Show confirmation when deleting an item from dashboard. So what is a page or what is a item? The page is basically the tab which you are seeing here, sourcing, contracts, and procurement. When you're deleting, do you want to get a message or an alert or a content? This is an item. If you're deleting one item from your home page, do you want to get a message? So there's a simple setting that you want to change or not. And these are all user interface. So it is not that we need to explain. By seeing this, you will understand. And you can also change the theme. So what you are seeing is currently a light theme. You can change to blue theme. So why we are using these themes? Suppose SAP Ariba is providing two environment to work on. One is test environment. Second is production site environment. In test environment, you are going to see this red color names mentioning test site. In production environment, you are not going to see this wording. So that is only the difference. Rest of the screens and everything will remain same. Then I also want to show you how do you identify whether it is a test or not. When you look at the URL, you will be seeing -T. So this is your client ID. When you see -T, that is basically a test environment. And also you're going to see the wording test site in the test environment. If it is in production environment, you are not going to see -T and you will not see this test site also. Then, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, there are two. Ariba is classified mainly into two things. One is upstream, one is downstream. The upstream, if you're in upstream, you're going to see that as a sourcing in your title bar. When you're in a downstream, you're going to see buyer in the place of a sourcing. So when you look at the URL, if it is in buyer, then you can understand that you are in a downstream environment. Okay. So this is about your self-service menu. And second is parent and child relation side. That means upstream will be always in a parent side. Downstream will be always in child side. So your client can have multiple ERP system connected to one upstream solution. There will not be any multiple upstream solution, only one upstream solution. Multiple ERP solutions are possible. To switch between upstream to downstream, you need to click this site icon. When you click on this site, the system will tell you to move to another site. Currently, I am in the sourcing site. I want to move to child site. How do I do that? By clicking on that site, and when you click this site, then it will take you to, you can call realm, site and environment, all are same only. Environment basically we can call as a production environment and test environment, whereas a parent and child, upstream and downstream, all these things are called realm, parent realm, child realm, all are similar words only, similar term. Now I move to child side. You can see this at the end it is mentioned as a child. Then you will also see on your home URL, you are going to see the item replaced with buyer. Sourcing has been replaced with buyer. So that is how you can navigate between parent to child using this site option. This is a help document. When you are in screen, you can try to get some help by clicking on help, which will take you to help portal. From there, you can search some product documentation or user queries or any forum like blogs and other things you can able to find from help menu. Print screen is simply to print whatever you are seeing on the screen. If it is required, you can do that. And search symbol, which is from here and from here, both are same only. By clicking here, you will be performing the same search, and by clicking here, you are also going to perform the same search. When I click here, then here you see that I already selected a sourcing project, but when I click this one, I need to select a sourcing project. Then I need to select relevant document. Let's see quickly searching of a document in Ariba. When I click this one and I see the project type as a sourcing project, and I click here with the demo. This is my title of a project. When I click on search, then Ariba will give me whatever the projects created in this environment with the demo that will be listed here. Okay. The system is saying maximum 100 documents can be found here. So there are more than 100 documents, but system is displaying only 100 documents. How can I bring other documents also? Then you have an option here. When you click on option, when you click on ignore maximum results limit and rerun the search. Once you selected it, click on search, then all your projects, wherever you're having a title called demo, will be displayed over pages. We are having 240 pages. By going to the multiple pages, we can able to see that information, 242 projects. Now I want to narrow down my search. I don't want 242 projects. So I want to look at only my projects only, whatever I have created. What is my username? Buyer7 is my username. Then I will go to here, I will select owner and I click on select. I'm going to select Buyer7, my name. Then I can select this one, or I do not know the name. Then you can know ID. You can enter the ID. ID is basically a unique ID. So, for example, your employee number and employee name, the similar way, buyer's ID can be, you can see this Buyer7 without any space, that is an ID. The name, basically user name will be the name of a user. And you will also see there are two types of users in environment, third-party enterprise users. Who are all third-party users? In your client, we are all third-party. We are a support consultant. We are not belongs to that company. We are only supporting their project. Then we become a third-party user. Then what is the next one or another one? Other one will be enterprise user. The buyers in their organization, procurement manager, or IT consultants, as part of that company, we are going to see them as a enterprise users. Now I have selecting Buyer7 and I click on done. You can even search multiple suppliers also. Okay, owner I have selected. If I want to add one more supplier or on one more owner list, I want to select Buyer7 and Buyer4 data. This time I'm going to select ID. I'm going to click Buyer4. Then I can add this Buyer4 also this page. So I'm going to search on two users, Buyer7 and Buyer4. You see this here, it is showing owner. When I clicked on search, out of 242 projects, I'm going to narrow down to 43 projects. Further, I am just concerned only on the projects created this week. Then I can click one more plus button or use an existing filter to change it. In this case, I'm changing from event type to creation date. Then I select this week. When I clicked on search, one project. So maybe this is the level of narrow down I can able to do that. Or I can want to click on my plus, then you can have multiple filters you can able to use for your searching out. So that is the easy way of searching a document in Ariba. Apart from that, you can also save this very frequently. If you're using this pattern, you can save this search by going to options. Okay. Save search. When you click on save search, it will ask you to create one name. Once you give that name, then the left hand side, you're going to see the save search. Here I'm going to click on SP July 23, for example. The current search will be replaced with my earlier saved search. Whatever I have saved in that condition, I just saved only one document number. With this, I am saving my SP July saved search. So you can use this option to save your filters. So let's go back to the home page by clicking on the company logo. Now in the search, we are also having on the left hand side drop down list. You can search what are the projects related to us. Basically will be sourcing request, sourcing project, contract workspace procurement, and we are also going to have supplier registration project, request project, qualification project, disqualification project, performance project. These are all generally what we are going to use in Ariba frequently. Let me go into the, so okay, these are all the tabs. So what you're seeing the tabs are, it is also called a modules. When you click on sourcing, now when you click on home, this is consist of all the documents which are all having access by this particular user. When I clicked on sourcing, only sourcing related information only will be presented in this particular tab. Similarly, contracts also. How do they get access to these things? The buyer 7 should have sourcing access, then he will able to do that. He should have contract access, then he will able to do that. That access is defined in Ariba as a role, so that roles need to be assigned to that user, then he will able to see. When you see in your environment, if you are missing some tab because you are not eligible for that particular area. For example, in your organization where a sourcing manager, his job is only to do the sourcing activity, he is not involved in contract, then he won't see these tabs appearing for him. Now I will, on the right hand side, the same menu, we are also having options to common actions. Basically, you are going to click on create. This is the place you are going to create any project by, for example, sourcing request or a sourcing project. Manage is basically to manage your existing document. Here the step is to create, and here you're going to manage. You're going to manage your purchase order. For example, you want to see who is a buyer and who is who is the vendor and other detail. You want to look at your purchase order status center. You can click manage purchase order, and you will also have administration and core administration. You're going to administer upstream solution. You're going to upstream downstream. You're going to manage core administration for downstream related configurations. This we are going to talk in detail when we're talking about individual one. And the template access, this is where a consultant will configure the templates related to upstream solution. Recent, when you've created any document in the system, then it will give you a quick way to access your recently created or recently viewed project from this screen. Also, these common actions are available as a tile on the left-hand side. You can see from common action, create and manage. Okay, now I have a question. I mean, I do not want, since I'm having the access here, I want to add some other field in my home page rather than showing these common actions again here. Then you can simply select this and delete that item. Delete the selected content, click done.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
See that it has been gone and that has been replaced with recently viewed. Even here also I want to say I don't want recently viewed also, because by clicking here or by clicking here I will able to know, then I'm just removing this also. Like that, you can manage your dashboard content as per your preference. This is not restricted, but as a consultant, you can design your template for your end users and end user has the flexibility to rearrange the dashboard as per his preference. That is not controllable. And anytime that user is facing an issue with his dashboard, how can he reset? By going to the tool symbol here. When he click it, and he can revert tab to set to default setting. Whatever the default setting given by the administrator, that setting it will revert to default settings. And if you want to add an additional tab, so here I'm seeing contact, home, supplier management, but I just want to have one more tab which will contain both sourcing and contract related document. Then you can click on this rinse symbol and add new tab will give you tab access. Content, basically what I have deleted now, if I want to add that content, I can do that. But how do I do that? By clicking on add content. I want to see common actions. In general, I'm having this option. So by double clicking it, it will be placed in the document. So let's go here. Now I want to, common actions are showing under here. I want to move that. How can I move? Drag and drop, you can do that. I'm going to move. When you see that blue dotted lines, you can drop there. Okay. When you see the blue, you should drop there. Then that will come there. So with this range, you can configure your tabs. If you don't want this tab, you can simply delete the tab also. If you want to compare what is your existing system, what are the changes you made, you can use this compare your tabs to default setting. Let's tell me one more topic and I will complete. I can also add tiles which are a pictorial information by clicking on here, add content, action tiles, click on add, then automatically system will add the tiles. These are all called tiles. Under tiles, I'm going to manage my tiles by clicking on this down arrow on the right hand side, clicking on this manage all tiles. Then now currently it is showing only 2. I want to add multiple also. Then I'm going to add one more to the event. Only maximum 5 can be added into your tiles. Click on done. Now you are going to see 5 tiles added into your dashboard. See this? Okay. And anytime, for example, event status at 54, for example, it is showing, but you know that that is a 55 document should show, then you simply need to come here and click on this refresh page. Ariba will refresh this page every 6 minutes. You want to do that in immediate action, then you can click on this refresh page. Then the tiles will get updated with latest information. I have certain questions. Let me go here. Supply chain we have answered. Inventory is included in Ariba or SAP. Inventory is always included only in SAP. It is not included in Ariba. That is the reason you are integrating with your ERP system. So the same question asked by one more person also. Inventory is not included here. What are the typical activities that a functional consultant performs in Ariba? Good question. As a functional consultant, our role is any environment you are going to support end users. So basically, when you go into an there are 2 types of project you might involve. One is an implementation project. Second is a support project. Mostly rollout process also is there. That is something similar to implementation project. So basically, at broad level, you are going to classify implementation and support. During implementation, you are going to discuss with your business, basically business or your customer, what is your requirement. So you need to understand the requirement and you need to demo him the features in Ariba. So based on that requirement, you are going to configure the test environment, show him the sample. When he is okay, then you are accepting that particular configuration. That is your roles in an implementation project. As a functional consultant, if you are in a support project, whatever I'm explaining now, this is the same thing even end user also is expected. So there are multiple activities you can do. If you are immediately joined and after an implementation project, if that implementation team did not provided user training or user guides, or your roles also includes user training, then you probably need to explain to your end users what is the roles and how they create a sourcing agent or sourcing project or whatever related to that particular person. You need to do that, or maybe you need to conduct certain sessions and then you are going to give the demo. Later on, the business users whom you have provided will pass on the training to the other users. Or troubleshooting issues. Whenever there is stuck in something, you know better than that person. Basically, you are a super user or a super performer. Then you are going to help them how they resolve that issue. Maybe once, for example, dashboard is a problem. He do not know how to reset his dashboard. Then they may reach you. Then you need to support him. Support activities like how an consultant will do the support activities. You are going to perform the same activities. Apart from that, you will also need to look at minor enhancements or developments. For example, your supplier is asking, I want an additional field, or I want my template to be changed. I want to create a new template. It could be any type of a area which is coming, and that matter you need to support that. I hope I have cleared functional consultant role. Are you going to showcase integration scenarios between Ariba and ECC? Yes, we are going to talk about integration scenarios between ECC and Ariba. CAG and what is SOA? Not sure about SOA. CAG, yes, we can show you on the CAG side what are the configurations. Do we have a session with the third party like S4HANA sourcing and procurement? Unfortunately, we do not have access to S4HANA system, but from Ariba side, whatever the configuration needed in CAG, we're going to show. You can provide this chapter Ariba topic notes. Yes, we are going to provide. You will be provided with course content. In that, it is all explained what are the topics which we are going to cover. And every end of the day, you are also going to receive recorded session, and whatever the notes we are capturing, that also will be shared with you. Coming to myself, maybe you are already aware that I'm having around 7 years of experience into Ariba. Prior that in SAP MM, and even prior that I'm having procurement experience. So I'm well versed with all the practical procurement scenarios as well as system side from Ariba side also. I'm well versed. I have implemented projects and I have knowledge on upstream, downstream, and CAG and SAP MM also. Okay, and coming to the difference between my training and other institution trainings will be, my trainings is completely on the practical side, where we are going to focus mostly on Ariba screens rather than a SAP's standard document presentation explaining that thing and showing very small value in your user interface. So why I'm doing that approach is, when you go into the job, at least you will feel that you are having an hands up. You have seen these steps in the past, then you were able to take up and do that activity. Yes, someone is asking about WhatsApp group, and then that you can connect with a support team and they will help you. They will clear you your doubts. Anything related to subject you can ask. Other things you can connect with like fees and batch timing, and all things will be helpful by support team. So,
Good morning, Sri. I think I have a small question here.
yeah, please.
Do you help in the SAP certification, because that is important for a consultant, right? Because I have over 10 plus years in IT, non-SAP. I just want to migrate to SAP through Ariba. So what would be the best?
This is a standard questions which we generally get. Yes, SAP certification. I'm going to explain that in one of the sessions. Apart from the course content, we are also having how to connect with the support, how do we help you in interview questions, and how do we help in, how how to clear certification question. We also have certain dumps available that will be shared with you. You can go through that and you can go for any certification. And also, certification is not at all compulsory in Ariba Consultant. Yes. So then why the certification need to be done? This will add a value to your CV. And when there are two similar CVs are available and if you're having a certification, you are going to get a preference than the other student. As such, none of the client or none of the companies force you to have a certification. Certain IT companies, as soon as you join them, they will allow free certification. So you can do that certification from the company side to save you cost. So the more important thing is what is your knowledge or expertise in Ariba applications.
Okay, I have a follow-up question. So is it essential for us to have practice knowledge or what?
Not necessarily. Again, this is a mix of a question. So as a Ariba consultant, you're not expected to handle side. I have worked on projects where I worked in Ariba support projects. In one of the organization, I have to handle only Ariba. If something, even we are not even getting an access to the ECC also. Something problem in ECC, there is a team handling ECC. We just need to tell them what is the issue and they will revert you. In one of the project, I have access to both SAP Ariba as well as CAG as well as ECC. Then I have to troubleshoot and I give this. So it depends on project to project and how big the teams also.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
Okay, I mean, basically I'm asking because I'm interested in the US market. You know, there, how is the situation? Do you have any idea?
US market, most of the people are having SRM and ECCs in their backend. They're slowly migrating to S4HANA. I have not seen many people migrating to S4HANA. Currently, they are in the process of migration. And Ariba is taking care, I mean, lot companies, US companies are moving on to Ariba because their suppliers are already on Ariba network. You will be seeing huge projects from US side and maybe you can put it in I don't know what is the search criteria in your region. You can enter and you can look for Ariba opportunities. There are plenty of opportunities.
Okay, so one person has to be expert in sourcing, contracting, and everything. What do you mean by an Ariba consultant? Like,
Yes, this is again like during how the competition and how the project requirement is. For example, if you are put into an implementation project, then you will be assigned only one particular area. So you will be taking care of a sourcing related configuration. If you put it in a support project where the client is having both upstream and downstream, then you are expected to perform both the activities. Again, if the team is big, then there is a shared responsibilities. You are going to handle only upstream, one person is going to handle downstream. It varies from project to project. There is no standard cutover or anything. If you are learning more application, you will get more opportunities. If you are having only limited, then you are going to get narrowed opportunity.
So, okay, because since this is for example, a US market is very competitive, right? So my question is, what best goes with Ariba? I mean, because there one module is not enough. If you are having 10 plus years, they'll also think, oh, do you know this also, right?
Yeah, I understand. So in that case, I recommend you to learn sourcing and buying, Ariba buying. These two are the important modules. Don't limit with only one. You have to learn buying and you also need to learn sourcing.
So is that covered in the course or is it a separate?
Yeah, we are covered. Yes, that two are covered. So
Okay,
what I'm saying is you get expertise in these two modules. Do more practice on this. Then when you are presenting it, you can able to do that because it will cover entire scenario. So sourcing, what if you know how to do the sourcing, you can manage the upstream. If you know buying, you can manage the downstream. That's why I'm saying focus both on buying as well as sourcing. Because many people may not be having a contract. Sourcing definitely they will have because it is easy to get the prices and do the competitive bidding and all. And purchase requisitions, if they are engaged in S4 HANA or ERP system, they want their users to use Ariba only. Because Ariba, they are already into Ariba, they want them to use Ariba. There they are going to use that buying solution. Invoicing, they can continue with their existing process. I have seen 2 or 3 clients, they're not implemented invoice, and they're all from US clients only. That's the reason I'm not saying invoicing. So go ahead with buying and sourcing as your expertise modules.
So that's all covered in this course, right? That's
Yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah. Yes.
So what is the certification code we need to have for this SAP Ariba?
You have multiple certification course. You have to do Ariba sourcing one certification and Ariba procure to pay P2P. You will be seeing AR, CI,
Okay.
CAG is one certification. AR, P2P is the another certification.
So both are separate exams.
Separate exams. Yes. Sourcing is only focused on sourcing. P2P is focused on buying and invoicing. And it will also cover some limit on the sourcing side also that I'm going to explain during the topic.
Oh, okay. Thank you then. Thank you.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, LMS.
Yeah. Hi, Shri.
Right?
Hello.
Yeah.
Are you going to cover SLP like how
Yes.
the vendors?
SLP in detail we are going to cover. We are going to cover all the templates. We are going to cover performance management, boarding supplier, doing preference of supplier. All these things we are going to.
So when it comes to this replicating master data, like the vendor master or BP or whatever to ECC, is it possible to showcase?
Yeah,
And
yeah, we are going to
another thing
showcase.
is that the contract replication from Ariba to when we talk about S2C. So I mean, you have that integration in place, right? Currently.
No, that is a native integration. We don't need any integration. I'm going to show from S2C also, source to contract, how you have to do. I'm going to show.
So which will happen in Ariba only, not in ECC.
Yes, you are right.
Contract creation will happen in Ariba, and the replication you are not going to showcase, right?
So I'm going to showcase how you are going to replicate in ERP also, but I will not show you that document in ERP system because we don't have access to that. So
No
by
problem.
doing from your side, that is going to replicate in your ERP. That is also I'm going to show.
Okay. So and another question, like when it comes to invoicing, like is there any integration with SIM? I mean, the vendor
Supplier
invoicing.
invoicing portal.
Yeah.
Okay, invoicing we are going to cover from the Ariba side and Ariba network side. So integration with the third-party vendors is not covered.
Okay.
SIM in the sense, can you repeat abbreviate?
Yeah. Supplier invoice management or vendor invoice management.
Yeah.
So
in our Ariba practice, we are going to see how the supplier is creating an invoice in the portal or in the network that we are covering. And how it is comes to Ariba, that is also we are covering. When it goes to the payment, so it will also reflect that the payment is in schedule. That all we are going to cover.
Okay. So how the data will be replicated to FI system then?
And that we are going to talk about. So that is where then integration, when it is happening, you are going to decide how to data flow from invoicing to ERP system. I'm going to explain that also.
Sure. Coming back to
I will not able to show that.
No problem. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Coming back to catalogs, like Ariba supports external and internal catalogs, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, I have a hard stop. I have to jump to some other person. So you can keep continuing your chat. Our support will respond, or then you can keep in touch and you can get back. We will get back to you. What I understand is Ariba is a cloud, so one needs to keep current even after obtaining the certification, meaning you have to place one. As I mentioned, certification is not at all compulsory, but to keep you aware of the latest updates, then there are certain certificates that will having a limited validity. Then you have to keep current. So you need to understand the changes happened during that period. Then you have to reappear one more small test. Once that is done, then your certificate is extended to next stay current. That is just to keep you updated on certification.
Actually, I will be quick over here. I just need some career advice. Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Shri, I have about 14 years of experience in ERP support, supply chain. So I've worked on non-SAP projects and worked on SAP MM modules as well earlier.
Your
Now,
MM module is more
let's
than
say,
enough to come to an Ariba platform. So I will tell you in our discussion how can you showcase what you are learning from my course. How can you showcase that as your experience? Also, we are going to.
makes sense. Yeah, my main question is, let's say with this many years of experience, my package is around 25 LPA. So do you think me investing time in Ariba, learning Ariba, will be
Where you are
fruitful
located?
in getting
Where you are located? You are in which market?
Bangalore?
Bangalore. So it
Yeah.
depends on project to project. So what will happen is if your client is a bigger client, then you will get more pay. If your client is lesser pay, and you will getting less pay. And you need, since you are having experience in procurement only, you can capture that as an experience because certain projects also involve project management. Where in project management, unless you know the topics, you will not able to manage it. If you are getting that role, definitely your package will be more than what you are getting.
Okay, got it. So if I learn
I
CIG
have
along
to
with Ariba,
stop now. I have to jump on to another call. So if you have some question, you can connect with him and I will able to respond.
yeah,
Thank
thank you,
you
Sri.
all. So wish you good luck. Thank you. Bye.